Well, hello there, and I'm back in Einbeck at the PS Speicher, and just behind me there is the fantastic microcar collection, the PS Depot Kleinwagen. You will see a link to the PS Speicher right here down below, and also behind me you see one of the most remarkable and interesting German production cars. It's a Glas 2600 V8. Glas was a company. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later. We'll show you the car outside. We'll show you the car inside. Of course, I will drive it thanks to the PS Speicher. But before we get into the lovely V8 behind me, I will give you a quick look around the microcar collection. So now I'm at the microcar collection of the PS Speicher, which is one of my favorite places at the PS Speicher. And the first car I'm going to show you is the Glas Goggomobil, because this is the car that paved the way to the Glas V8 I'm driving today. But before we start to get into the Glas V8, let's have a quick look inside its smallest brother, if you will. Let's open the doors, and it's all really tiny, and it's a sharp contrast to the Glas V8. But before we hop into the Glas V8, let's have a quick look around this fabulous collection of cars. And this is only a small part of what's to see at the PS Speicher collection. So we have all the different microcars of the 1950s and 1960s, Heinkel, BMW, all the things to see here. Well, and that is it. The Glas V8, surely one of the maybe most unknown GTs, Gran Turismo cars, only built for, barely 3 years. And only a few people will maybe remember its manufacturer, Glas in Bavaria. Yet, the Glas V8 has a lot to offer. It's a real GT. It's designed by Pietro Frua, and that is what we will drive today. It's maybe one of the most Italian of all German cars, so let's get inside of it. So, welcome inside the Glas 2600 V8. What a lovely Gran Turismo, and we're up for it. It's an almost cold start, so I was already driving it. So, as per usual, let's start this thing up. It's 140 PS V8. It's quite enough, isn't it? No seat belts, by the way, because it's a late 1960s car. And well, let's go for a quick ride and let's talk about the Glas. Usually when I have the camera on and I start the car, I usually will stall it. So, well, let's see if that goes a little bit better. First in. The gearbox is a bit wobbly. Yeah, let's go. We're leaving now the parking lot of the PS Speicher here, and Einbeck is just here behind me. Well, let's go on the road because this is where this car belongs to. So let's talk about Glas for a moment, because Glas is maybe one of the lesser known German car manufacturers. Of course, it's gone. But you know, back in the 1950s and 1960s, there was far more than Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen, BMW, Audi, and Ford. There was Borgward, there was NSU, there was Lloyd, and of course there was Glas. There were many small manufacturers for microcars, and Glas started out in around 1880 with farm machinery, farm equipment. And right after the war, right after the Second World War, Glas were looking for ways to get some money into their pockets. So I think they were producing some sort of scooter right at the beginning. Well, and then they started producing the Goggomobil. So there wasn't a time called the economic miracle, the Wirtschaftswunder. And microcars were all the rage, all different places of the world at that time, because people wanted to get four wheels. So the Goggomobil turned out a huge success. And actually the Goggomobil is the groundwork for everything Glas did in the next coming years. So the Goggomobil sold, I think, around 280,000 cars, something around that. So that was huge, and that gave Glas the money to produce more and more cars. And that the Glas, I think, K700, and they had cars in the middle class, and then they had these very, very good-looking coupes designed by Pietro Fua, the 1300 GT, 1700 GT, and it's quite remarkable the way from selling seat grills to a proper V8 GT car. I mean, in the end, you know, Lamborghini, they were going the same way, from farm machinery to supercars to hypercars. But spoiler here, Glas was much less successful than Lamborghini. But we will talk about the end of Glas a little later. So again, all the success was because of the Goggomobil, a tiny car, the T250, 250cc engine. I think it was an ELO engine, a small motorbike engine, I think around 14 horsepower. 14 had the Goggomobil, and the V8 140. So let's take a bit about the Glas V8 here from the outside. And the first thing I've noticed, well, it's a really small car. It's not that big. That is partly because of the, where you see these the short wheelbase, because it's based on the underpinnings of a Glas 1700 to cut costs in the development of the car. And also notable is this large overhang here at the back of this car, and as said, that is all because there was used the the underpinnings of a Glas 1700 because of its whole Pietro Frua design. And we all know he also did some iconic designs for Maserati, the first quadruporter, for example. This was going by the nickname the Glaserati, and if you ask me, it's very fitting. So what else do we have? I think I already mentioned these large headlights. Well, that's actually leading me to the question, is there a typical Frua line, a linear Frua? Well, that's debatable, but there are some typical Frua design clues. So, well, it's not a fastback yet. In the development of the car, Frua had some drawings with a proper fastback design, which would be a typical Frua design feature. So there's some interesting part of it, and that is here at the back of this car, and this is this sort of, well, almost vertical rectangular rear frame. So in Italy it's called the coda tronca angolata. I'm pretty sure I'm just botching it with my very bad, almost non-existing Italian. Usually it's framed at the edges by a sort of stiffening. You can see it, kind of it is right here, this little bend over here at the rear lights. So the rear lights, by the way, I think they're from a Glas 1700, but we will talk about the parts used for this car in a moment. What else? And of course I have to show you this lovely Pietro Frua badge, Creazione Pietro Frua. In later years this badge was looking a little bit different, and well, just have a look at it. When you have a close look at it, it almost looks like a Hofmeister King you find on many BMW designs in later years, and it's debatable if it's a Hofmeister King. You will find that design feature on many Michelotti designs, but yeah, we will leave that up to debate. So yeah, that's it. The Glas V8. And to save costs, Glas used many parts from other cars. For example, the rectangular headlights here are coming from a Mercedes-Benz, I think 0308 coach. The whole mechanism here for the wipers are from a Mercedes-Benz Pagoda. I think the window cranks and the window mechanism also from a Pagoda. I think these indicator lights, rear lights, are all from other Glas models. The door lock, I think it's from a Porsche 911, but well, here, the quarter lights also from, I think, from a Glas car, Glas 1700. I'm not sure about that, but I just look at it. It's a fantastic looking thing. I really like it. So let's get into full expert mode and have a look into the. Let's open the bonnet. So there you go. Then you grab in here, and well, there we have it. And there we have it, 140 PS V8 power. But what was it exactly? It was a 2580cc iron block alloy head V8, but it was nothing more than two engines out of a Glas 1300 GT on a common crankshaft. In fact, they were thinking about a six-cylinder engine when they started developing the big Glas coupe, but word got around at Glas that BMW wanted to axe their lovely looking V8 Bertoni coupes, and of course an V8 creates a whole different sensation, and well, it did. Well, then of course I can't show you a V8 with these two lovely exhaust pipes without starting it, and you enjoy the V8 sound. And now, how does it look inside? Let's open the door and well, just have a look at this beautiful red leather cloth interior. proper rear bench with, well, opening rear windows. Well, now let's get behind the wheel of it. I think it's a lovely steering wheel. It's a wooden steering wheel, deep dished here with the very nice looking Glas logo, which has a very Bavarian feel because it's a Bavarian car, isn't it? So what else to see? It's a large dashboard with, it's all, I think it's leather. It's maybe some sort of fake leather. I don't know. But what do we have? Well, of course, speedometer, tachometer, oil temperature. This says oil. Something with oil. Of course, a clock that doesn't work at the moment. Then we have, of course, the petrol gauge and the engine temperature. Then we have all sorts of buttons on it. So this is, of course, the hazard light. This here, I don't know. So is it a switch or, well, anyway, this is the choke. Then we have the light switch. I think this one. This one is the light switch, and another switch that does it does something. Then, of course, an ashtray, because in the 60s you wanted an ashtray. This is where there could be a radio, but you could also just enjoy the V8 sound of it, and a very small heater thing, if you will. So what else do we have? We have a glove box right there here under the dashboard at the footwell, and grab handle for the passenger of this car. Then a feature I love on all cars from the 60s and 70s, quarter light. It's an opening quarter light. This is the best AC possible, and open and closing it. You have this little wheel here right there down below. I think it's out of another Glas car, maybe the smaller coupe or the smaller saloon. Then we have the door cards. I think this is a vinyl opener. Lots of storage. There's another storage area, and then of course the gearbox. I already said when I'm driving this, it's a bit like someone has thrown a stick into a gearbox, because it's very you can see it. Anyway, it's an old car and it just has to be like that. Then we have an interior light. We have a white vinyl headliner. It's all in remarkable condition, and that is because people here at the PS Speicher, chaps at the workshop, they just know how to do it. So this is the Glas from inside. I haven't shown you this. This is, of course, the indicator. There we have a little air outtake on the other side as well. Let's get on the rear bench and see how comfy or not comfy it is. So there's this little lever, and this goes up, and then you sit in the back of the Glas, and it's just like it has to be on a proper GT car. I may have said that already. In a proper GT car, it's almost impossible to sit on the rear bench, so I'm almost happy that I can't sit. I can't see me here 6 hours. I can't see me there for more than 6 hours. So it's really, really lovely. Well, I've just noticed you have even a handle here for the rear passengers. It's almost only for the rear passenger. Anyway, what a fantastic looking car. I just noticed there's something I haven't shown you, and that is the boot. And the boot it's large. Just have a look at it. That's all my equipment. The notes I've made for today. Sorry, there's lots of traffic here on that road, but I just thought I should show you that while I am still on the road with this remarkable car. So my take on this, I love GT cars. Because it's not about speed. This is not a tire smoker, as already said. A GT is not about speed. In my eyes, a GT is about getting from here to there. And this is the perfect car for it, if you ask me. Has a nice V8, just the nice V8 sound. It's very roomy. I could see myself here in 4 hours, but I have to go back now. So how did it end for Glas? Well, shortages of money, of course. While the Goggomobil was a huge success, all the other cars, they weren't just making the money Glas needed to, well, have a permanent place in the German automotive world. So in November 1966, BMW bought Glas for, I think, around 10 million Deutschmarks. The Goggomobil remained in production, some other Glas cars as well, but of course they got BMW badges. So this, for example, was sold as the BMW Glas V8, but finally it got a 3.0 liter engine. Actually, Glas was already working on a 3.2 liter engine. So it was all because of this 200 kilometers per hour mark. That was a very important mark on this class of cars, and the Glas V8 barely made it to that. So it's a rare car, not so many have been built. Somewhere between 700 and 800 left the factory in Dingolfing. I think 264 of the 2,600, the smaller V8, the rest of the production went all to the 3.0. After production was over, BMW took over the whole operation in Dingolfing, and that was actually the place where they produced BMW's new 5 Series. So production ended somewhere 1968, 1969, and the last car that ever left the Dingolfing production facilities, that was actually the Goggomobil. So this was not the swan song. Actually, the most successful car, the Goggomobil, ended everything that happened in Dingolfing. So that was the end. That was my little video about the Glas V8. Hope you enjoyed the drive in it. Just please leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. That would actually help me a lot. So take care, see you soon.